Hello, and welcome back to Downtime Activities, and welcome back to Skygate, our 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons campaign that takes place almost entirely underground. Last time, you guys got up to some shenanigans in the city, got some new stuff, got your supplies ready, and were headed off to the city of Vordra, but not without some amount of stops and a great deal of distance between you and there on your way to the Drow city. I believe all business in town was concluded, and you were all about to depart, unless there's any other things you guys are wanting to do.
How much
I think we'll...
this is a scheme I discussed briefly with you in the week since we've recorded. What does bottled breath cost?
Oh,
Because if it's cheap, I have a plan. If it's not cheap,
do you just need one?
No, we would need...
Because I have
one.
We would need probably at least 5.
Okay. I don't remember it being cheap.
I don't think it's super cheap.
I don't think it is either.
I have to get to my
I gave you all the
stores.
lizard saddles.
Base camp, I believe, had that. Yes. Bottle breath is 150 gold pieces each.
Because I was thinking, if we could afford to, we could get like 5 or 6 bottled breaths, however many like hostages we think we're going to be rescuing, and then we put them in the whole portable hole with bottled breath, and then we can smuggle them out of Vordra pretty easily.
It's not terrible.
But if they're 150 apiece, six of them would be 900. Run us, like 900, which is a lot of money. So
I'll chip in.
Yeah, I can just about cover that.
because I've got 89, which I'd be willing to.
I could put 600 in. I think that'd get us most of the way.
I could put 300 in to just fill it out.
That's not a bad plan. Like,
Yeah.
at least from the information we have so far, that's not a bad way of just like, let's get the hostages out of here.
So you guys could pay a little less.
Or well, no, like I think that puts us up to 7, which is like a from what we know, like the list we have of hostages, that gives us like a definite surplus, which is probably good. I mean, there may be way too many hostages for this to be a reasonable plan, but if we had to like, rescue all the noblewomen and get out of the city really fast, we could do that a little bit easier without having to literally drag them out of the city.
It's a solid, at the very least, emergency plan, and I'm willing to put my gold on the line for it. Because even if it's not useful for this particular scenario, it could really be helpful for some other scenario in the future.
Right.
Where it's just like, oh yeah, look, we can get a group of people, put them in this sack, and then
one person can take that sack and move hella fast.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's an interesting emergency. It's a good emergent plan for when we need it. Kind of like the Thunderdome, where it's like it's not useful all the time, but when it is useful, it'll be great.
Now that we have the lizards that have the spider clone, we should really go back and get the Thunderdome. But we can't really have these two plans at the same time, because we can't put the portable Thunderdome in the portable hole and put all the hostages in the portable hole to get them out of the city.
Portable hostage Thunderdome.
Exactly. They could be 5 hostages enter, 1 hostage leave.
What are
you want to get rescued? We're gonna have some tryouts.
Yeah.
All right.
True. Don't tell Fusion.
So you guys are buying 7 bottles of bottled breath?
I'm buying 6, I think. Yeah.
I have
6?
1.
And Jocelyn's got 1.
Okay.
I just think it's.
I'll contribute 300 to that.
Okay.
All right.
And then, sorry, how much is the total?
It's 900.
900 total.
So 3, and then I'll put in 6. Okay.
I just think it's a.
All right.
I think that is a solid enough plan. Even if it's not for this particular rescue mission, I think in the future that could be really helpful. So
Yes.
Absolutely.
so write that down on your sheet.
Oh, yeah.
Write that down. Write that down.
It's your plan. By the way, who is holding the?
I assume you have the portable hole.
Oh yeah,
Who lost the portable hole?
right. Cool. Well, that's
All right.
That was a great plan that Will had in the interim. Whether we use it or not, who knows?
Look, Candle's
Now you have the stuff for us,
conspiracy
just in case.
theories and scheming and all sorts of stuff. So
If there's no other purchases you need to make or conversations you need to have, I think it's time to set, almost said set sail, to head out, set wheel and lizardy foot out into the out into the world, out into the Underdark, through the gates with your Deep Delver's Writ. You get easy passage through, with of course the usual skeptical glances and glares of the Skyguard, and you are out into the large open cavern itself, with all the different openings outside of Skygate.
Yeah.
You have a brain map, and then you have a theoretical attached map to go to Sloughton along the way. To start with, you'll be able to use kind of your brain map and have a pretty certain course that you'll be taking. So for a while at least, there's no real survival checks needed. You'll just kind of be able to traverse this. What is the plan for this? So I know typically you've had Candle as the scout, but with you guys on backs of lizards, your lizard is not a Gloomstalker. So if you are wanting to scout ahead invisibly, it will considerably slow you down. Whereas with all of you on mounts, you could increase your speed pretty considerably, but you wouldn't have the ability to scout ahead invisibly.
well, their movement speed is 30 feet, right?
Yes. They're not technically faster than you all, but there's sections that could be considered difficult terrain, and they will not tire the same rate and need brakes the same rate as a person.
Well, at least difficult terrain doesn't matter because I'm a ranger with the Underdark favored terrain. Like, difficult terrain doesn't slow the party's travel.
I don't think we need a scout for at least until we get close to.
Yeah, I can forego this scouting, I suppose. Then what am I even doing here?
You
For after we
will
get through
scout.
Sloughton,
You
yeah.
will scout just when we get close.
And Sloughton's the town that's like
perfect.
surrounded by the lake of fire or
Yes.
lava or whatever. Okay.
Sloughton is right next to the Slagmere, which is a massive underground magma pit.
That's right.
Lovely.
That's right.
That's why it hasn't been invaded by all the other nasty stuff.
That's where all the
It turns out that there's not a whole lot of value to be had from there. It's not exactly a super hospitable or like a mineral dense area anymore at the very least. But for the Swerfneblin, it's home, at least for some of them.
Okay.
All right.
We're moving fast.
All right, moving fast. I'm going to roll one thing really quickly.
I forgot my lizard's name until now when I looked down. Beans.
Beans.
My lizard is Brickest. Because we already had Brick and Bricker, so so I named my lizard Brickest.
Brickus Dickus.
Riquissimo. So you will all be traveling on a predetermined course. You have a brain map that you can follow, and
Three of us
nothing
have
really
the
deviates from it
brain map.
for about a
Yeah.
week and a half of travel. And during this time, there's no real threats that bother you. The Underdark, closer to the city, is less inhospitable, less threats and stuff around. And you guys are just traversing it in a way where you have a very set route. You're moving quite quickly, and so things that see you go by, like as you move by, you might see some little fields of mushrooms or things like that. But if you aren't intentionally stopping and going out of your way to explore stuff seems to kind of let you pass, more or less. If you're moving quickly and all of you on large creatures, it seems like the smaller threats are kind of dissuaded from bothering you. However, at this about week and a half point, as you're traveling, you come upon a section that, again, you're following this brain map. It's like reliving this super vivid dream. But all of a sudden, the terrain ahead of you is different than what your dream remembers, in that there is a large cave-in the cavern in front of you that seems to have happened since this brain map was recorded. Whatever.
There has been a happening.
It seems that the current path that was the sort of direct route for you all, that you have the certain map of, is blocked off.
All the way to the ceiling, or nothing
Yes.
matters for the wagons?
For the wagons, it'd be an issue, but it seems like this isn't like some rubble collided from the side. This is like a top-down mountain has come down onto it passageway. It's very much completely cut off.
Well, do we want to? We could set up a camp here, and I could start looking for a way around, I guess.
Makes sense. I could,
Yeah.
Now, hear me out. I could cast Shatter.
Caves in on the other side of us.
Shit.
Damn.
I think I'll leave my lizard here, so I can move quickly and quietly, and I'll start backtracking and looking for a way around. I guess exploring
Okay.
other tunnels.
Give me a survival check.
Nine.
9, no more, no less.
No more, no less.
Also, give me an intelligence check.
Just flat intelligence.
Just flat intelligence.
Uh-oh. 7.
7. Okay. 9 and 7. So, one last roll. So, I also need a nature check from you. This would be an Underdark related nature check.
Hey, Grimes, don't bite.
That is 22. Had to do math there for a second.
22. Okay. So backtracking, looking, kind of prodding a couple different spots here. There's only 2 real paths you're able to come up with. One of which is quite a bit more out of your way. It would be backtracking a decent ways, and it's not really a path you find so much as just one you know of. You know that you are not too far off. You're a couple days, it'd be setting you back at least a couple days to start with. But you could technically take the path across Black Chasm Bridge. You know that it'd be backtracking, kind of taking a large way around. And it would be making you branch towards the Dwergar Kingdom, not towards the other path that you guys had gone on previously, in order to circle back towards this cavern. You're not guaranteed it'll reconnect, but you think that there's a decent chance it'll at least get close. The other thing, you do find another pathway. It's kind of a strange, more circular tunnel way off of this that you do recognize as clearly being the pathway of a purple worm. And with that good of a nature check, you know that this is currently the birthing season of purple worms, and so the likelihood of there being a great number of purple worms in a more defensive state anywhere where there are purple worms is very high.
We fell prey to one of the classic blunders, exploring the Underdark in purple worm birthing season.
But only slightly less well known as this. Never cross Black Chasm Bridge when the Thunderdome is on the middle of it.
It's true. But that, see, that's the thing. We could take the Black Chasm Bridge route, and while we're there, scurry on down the spider climb and get ourselves a portable Thunderdome.
You basically think that doing the Black Chasm Bridge route will be the longer route, and it will take you through Dwergar lands, but it's more predictable in what you will encounter and what sort of things you might have to deal with. You think that the Purple Worm route will be considerably quicker, but it's a decent chance that there's no snow, at least one, if not multiple purple worms at somewhere in that route.
Can I tell which direction the purple worm went? Like
The bit of the cavern you start to follow, until it starts to reconnect to other natural caverns, seems to be kind of going around this block in, essentially.
okay.
That's why it'll save you a couple days to take that route,
Well,
probably.
yeah, but
but
can I tell like was it coming from that way? And
like which way
the
did it
direction
burrow
we
into
need
or
to
out
take
of?
through this purple worm tunnel? Is that the direction it was headed, or the direction it
You
came
are heading in the same. With your previous
Okay,
nature check,
right.
I'll absolutely give it to you. You would be
Cool.
heading the direction it was heading when it made this current burrow tunnel.
I present our options to the employees of the company and our charges, passengers,
Travel companions?
Yeah. Clients.
clients.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I'd say that, would it put a strain on our supplies to take the longer route around? Would it are we-
Obviously.
well, yeah, but I mean
Umbril, your sorcery friend who's paying to be on this, is kind of like, I'm here for the good times, not the long times. But also, I'm fine with it taking us longer to get there if it means we're less likely to die because I want to get there. Varys, I believe is the other guy's name. Yes, Varys, the half Drow, will say that he's got adequate supplies. If it will take longer, seeing that you guys will be stopping off in Sloughton and he can resupply there. It'll be tighter, but in theory, if there's not another major setback like this, he accounted for enough supplies for a setback or two. This one is a fairly considerable one.
Yeah.
So the answer is yes, so long as there's not a bunch of other setbacks along the way, we should be fine.
well, I think we just have to. Well,
Instructions unclear. Whole party stuck in portable Thunderdome.
right.
Yeah.
Instructions unclear, whole party stuck inside Purple Worm.
Those are the two choices.
Yeah.
It's
Any
tough.
strong preferences either way from the group?
Well, yeah. Do we think we could take a purple worm or two?
Well, I think we could dodge a purple worm or two and just run past them as fast as we could. You can.
But
This wouldn't
not
be
the
This
the
wouldn't
biggest
be the
issue
first
is
time
the
I played a
caravan
Kenku
we're with.
who just made a bunch of noise and went running down a tunnel to distract a giant, terrifying worm
Right.
creature from the rest of the
And
party.
he wasn't even level 7.
And he didn't even die, miraculously.
I'm leaning more towards take the couple days and go across the bridge.
Now let's fight. But we're not guaranteed a fight either way.
Yeah.
Why are we
even here?
Well, we're guaranteed a fight when we get
Let's
to the end of
not
this, I'm
waste
sure.
our fighting efforts in trying to mess with the worms.
Trudolf thirsts for battle.
Can you even see the battle going on?
I'm gonna say we'll go around. Let's go to Black Chasm Bridge. I think that's the better choice. Because I don't think purple worms are gonna be.
Especially during mating season.
Let's really get the Thunderdome.
It seems
You don't want to be
Does give
seeing
us a
something
chance
you
to
shouldn't
fight
be
against the
seeing.
Thunderdome. Assuming it survives the fall.
We need it.
Need is a strong word.
I need it.
Our foes can escape us no longer.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's go to the bridge. We'll take the long way around, and we'll just have to
Okay.
deal with the supply issue if it comes up.
All right. You guys can certainly do so. No check required to backtrack the path you've already taken. And you can, it's essentially kind of starts going back and then attaching onto a trail you've been on before. So it'll be another decent bit of time of traveling, another about, between the backtrack, the loop around, and then getting back on the path, it'll be close to another week that you will be on the trail. And after that time, you will arrive at the Black Chasm Bridge. The chasm ahead of you is not quite as dark as you remember it, yet still just as dark as you remember it.
Right.
Do we want to risk trying to get a hold of the portable octagon?
That's all up to you guys.
Because we don't actually know it's gonna. If it survived the fall, we don't know it's gonna happen when we put it in the portable hole.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it could just explode,
Right.
which would be a hilarious end of the campaign for all of us. Like, congratulations, you're in Spelljammer now. Welcome to the astral plane.
What happens
If its
Use
aura
the
continues
function.
outside of the,
but we're walking with it?
then anything that we overlap with while walking with it gets stuck inside of it.
Well, we're not stuck, are we? Or are we?
No, because we would be walking with it.
Right.
It's getting far enough from the gemstone thingy that it like.
Yeah, that loops you around.
If we want to use the emergency like bottled breath tactic, that's going to get a little messy because there are the shadow people inside of the portable octagon,
Right.
and we don't want to like have that in the portable hole and then shove a bunch of people into the portable hole because then they'll be stuck in there with the shadow people.
You could probably get it if you guys really want it on the way back and take everyone out.
No, let's just go get it. What if it's really useful?
I mean,
I
might
say we
be
can
really
get it
useful.
on the way back.
What if it's really useful for what we're going
We
to
don't even know if it survived the fall, really. So we should probably go at least check. Whatever goes down to check should probably have the portable hole. in case
It'd be
we wanna try and grab it.
irresponsible not to go down and check back, right?
We need to come up with a. We need to come up with a like.
Plus, think of all the people who got stuck on that bridge and ended up jumping off in desperation, all the treasure at the bottom of that chasm. Now that's thinking like true.
Yeah, that's
True
really
dwarf
coming
Then
into
you
the
go
hole.
down.
We need to have an order of operations here so that we don't all end up trapped in the Thunderdome.
Right.
We could send one person down with the portable hole to see if they can, to see if it even survived and if they can put it in the portable hole.
That's too risky.
But if they don't come back after like a certain
System
amount of
in
time,
balance.
then we need to do what we did the last
And that
time,
will- is guaranteed
The
to work.
ropes.
where we like send somebody in with a rope.
We need to have 2 people go down, each with the rope tied to them, staying as far apart from each other as they can. Person in front looking for the Thunderdome, person back staying back, so that if the portable hole thing doesn't work, it's the person in the front will have a portable hole. If it doesn't work, then that person can still put down the Thunderdome, and the other person can pull them out.
Right. Yeah,
So
I'm
2
just.
people, 1 rope, 1 portable hole.
Okay. So that means me at the front
With the portable
with the
hole.
portable hole.
And
And assuming
whoever's-
I'm carrying the portable
whoever's
hole.
strongest is at the back.
I've got a 16 in strength.
I've got 18.
Okay, so probably you.
I also have a 16 in strength.
So do you want to? You've got a lizard, right?
Yeah.
So one of you could take, or either somebody could just ride with you, or somebody could take my lizard just to get to the bottom of the chasm.
Yeah, I'll just write with them.
Okay.
And so, yeah, okay.
We're like
Take a short
it's like
lunch
as soon as we arrive at the bridge, the whole group of employees gather up, and it's like, all right. But if only one person goes down there, they could get stuck inside of the portable octagons. We need to send 2 people with a rope, and like we immediately discuss this crazy plan, and like I assume our
clients are like-
clients are like, what in the world is going
The
on?
Drow seems confused and only moderately perturbed by the delay. Umbril, the sorcerer, seems confused and more than moderately intrigued by the shenanigans.
Alright, so we hop on my lizard, and then me and Axel go down. Well, we start our way down the chasm.
Hey, so you are on your lizard,
Mm-hmm.
and Axel is on
He can take my lizard.
Candle's lizard?
I was gonna ride double
Going
with
down.
him, but I can ride a second lizard.
I don't know how
Um,
well they'll be able to climb.
I'll
to
dangle
the
you from a
lizard.
rope below me. So
Genius.
that way, if you get into
I mean,
Like-
I
Actually,
can
that sounds
fly
like fishing.
down to the bottom if I need to. Like, it's not a.
Adding a second
Fishing
full-size
from
person might make it a little trickier for them to climb along
Okay.
the wall.
I'll just take a
Not
second
necessarily
lizard.
impossible.
Yeah,
If you just
okay.
take his lizard, then you guys can also both be. I mean, you don't have to be to go down since you're not going to be technically going upside down yet. But are you fully strapped into the saddles?
I will.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys, it'll be hard to get off of them if you should choose to, but you don't have to make any checks or anything. You're easily mounted onto this thing as they go clambering over the edge and down the side. I assume on this close side
Yes.
of the bridge, like going along the rock wall down. And you are able to do so. It takes a considerable amount of time. You think you're going down a considerable distance. It's hard to say in darkness like this, even with your vision, like exactly how many, but it's probably in the multiple hundreds of feet that you are going to descend down this chasm until you start getting down close to the bottom and into a sort of open canyon at the base of this.
Let's see. Nope. Yep, that'll do. I guess we'll start.
And you are able to get down there.
Yeah. So we know that the bridge, like, it would have fallen, like, it was in the middle of the bridge, right? So
Yeah.
assuming that it would probably bounce from this distance a ways, just from the fall.
It probably wouldn't, because didn't we try to destroy it and couldn't? Like, this thing's really tough.
Yeah, it was like a magic. Like, if it's like non-magical damage, it can probably tank a considerable amount.
So it's gotta be down here.
Allegedly, I mean, maybe. Who knows? Maybe it's specifically weak to fall damage.
Maybe all the rocks in the Underdark are considered magical damage. And playing a slinger would have been a really
That'd be
powerful
cool.
build.
That'd be cool. Yeah, so we'll. I'll start. I'll have a rope tied around. Actually, I won't be riding the lizard.
Yeah, once we're at the bottom, I don't want to be on lizards.
Yeah.
We're gonna have them stay right where we get to the bottom.
And then
Okay.
we'll I'll have him tie a rope to me, and I'll
It's
walk
gonna be
out
tied
in
around
front.
both of our waists.
Yeah.
All right.
And then he's
While
going
he
to
goes
walk
out in there looking
and
for
we're
it?
going to move with the rope taut between us.
Okay. With like
So
the
that
same
when
direction,
someone
but
else
him
finds
leading
this
a little
rope
bit.
stretched across, then
Okay.
our rituals.
Go ahead and give me an investigation.
Okay. I am good at those.
Man, I just love the idea the next time we run into that hag who ran.
That's a crit. What a way to start off the first roll. 24.
Just the
with
first
the
action
crit.
of the combat's just
With a critical success, you quite quickly find the landing site where you are confident this gemstone landed. As you can see, where it made a pretty big impact into the rock below. You don't see any sign of the crystal being damaged, or the crystal itself, but you can tell that it landed here and bashed a section of this rock. With the crit, you can also see where it kind of scraped the rock as it tumbled, and track to where it eventually landed. There is still no sign of the crystal where it landed, but you can tell where it was before it was likely moved from that location.
Okay.
Also, while in his area, you notice a very faint, distant, golden light at this same level as you, out ahead of you, further along the canyon.
Someone maybe lives down here and goes and puts the crystal back whenever someone figures it out.
if it's back up on the
And
bridge,
also scoops
that
all the
would
treasure
be
that falls.
amazingly hilarious.
Maybe we should get everyone
no,
down here.
What if there's like
Go check out this.
what if there's like a dragon down here that was just like
Collecting
it's been
gold.
collecting all the treasures and stuff that have fallen. It's just like fucking giant gemstone, yoink, and now it's stuck in the dragon is the portable octagon as long as it carries it around.
Exactly.
A dragon you cannot escape is the worst.
That's a pretty bad. That's a bad scenario.
That's a bad dragon.
I was trying to avoid saying that, but we have it on audio
What?
now. We have it recorded. Don't worry about it.
Oh,
Don't Google that
Erickson doesn't know
later.
what that is.
Yeah, don't Google that on your work computer.
Look it up on my work computer.
Don't whatever you do, don't do that.
Okay,
Anyway,
fair enough.
Let's get
Erickson's doing
the.
this. He doesn't know what a bad dragon is.
Oh no! Stop.
Oh, is that?
Stop saying
Oh,
it.
that's
Stop
the.
saying
That's like the dragon dildos, huh?
You remember what
Ding,
I didn't.
ding,
I've
ding.
heard of. I didn't know what they. I didn't know it was called Bad Dragon. I don't
you
think.
remember what
but
Jared did to Brandon's
assuming
phone
that's what
in high
that's.
school?
Do I?
Yeah.
Do I live in fear of it? Yes.
Well, that's a decision people can make. I'm not going to boo your yay, but I will judge you quietly for it. Go ahead. Sir.
So we're gonna round up the crew, and it'll take some time, but we have a mysterious golden light. And so we must, as adventurers, we are contractually obligated to investigate it.
All right.
Best case scenario.
So
you find a respawn
you're
point.
gathering
Best
the
case
rest of the
scenario-
group and going down there.
Yep.
Okay.
We'll have the people we're transporting stay with the wagons and watch them.
Okay. So there will be a total of 6 of you down there and 5 lizards down there. In terms of getting back up,
I
you'll probably
can
have to do like
wait
a
at the
couple.
bottom.
Yeah. Just for the sake, if all of you are down there, then it'll be harder for all of you to get back up in one fell swoop
I can.
without some potential
Candles
risk.
probably light it up. I can just
Well,
football
no,
them
I can
going
just.
down.
I can turn into a raven.
I have those
and
hollow
just-
bird balls.
There you go.
Right up with you.
Yeah.
So
And
it won't
fly
be a big
yourself
deal.
up. There you go.
Yeah, it won't be a big
Easy enough. But you all be able to make it back down, and I assume are moving. Are you trying to move stealthily or just at a kind of normal walk?
Let's let our scout do some scouting.
You want me to scout,
Okay.
or do we want to pass without trace?
Oh, that's a good
I
point.
mean, past the trace, we could probably get into it pretty quietly.
Yeah, I think if we want maximum quietness for the group, pass
Okay.
that trace would be the play.
One
All right.
pass without trace.
Roll stealth
please.
checks.
I forget. And pass without trace adds how
10.
much to our rolls?
10 to your roll.
10.
A lot of you are in heavy armor, so you have disadvantage, but plus 10 is pretty good.
Not bad. 19.
32.
How dare you? Also
I'm not coming
32.
with you guys.
What? You're
You
gonna
get-
stay at the top?
Yeah.
Okay, you can stay at the top. That's fine.
You don't feel like investigating?
Actually, I
guys
did
are
my math
investigating
right. That's a
the
dirty
portal?
20.
What if it's doing
Dirty
a
20.
fight and you're not there to help us?
Technically, all we're investigating at the moment is a golden glow.
I don't think I can't see
Okay.
how long I
Usually
wouldn't want to see the
combat.
the
What are we
golden
rolling?
glow at
Sorry.
the bottom of the cavern.
What?
My investigation.
Stealth?
Stealth.
Well, I'm super sneaky.
We're getting plus 10 from pass without trace.
So,
Plus 10,
Yep.
And then plus your stealth.
which is
um,
6, 10, and 4.
oh,
So
what I
20
have to do.
20.
2 32s here, boss.
It was
half
between,
that.
We have 2 20s and 2 32s.
it was between a crit and a 7. Search that.
So a crit.
So
Oh no, you have to take
Yeah,
at
but
least
disadvantage.
a 7.
So 16, technically.
Also
16.
16.
Also 16.
Still a decent
All right.
stealth roll.
That's what trade. Very helpful.
Lowest to 16. As you guys kind of approach and round the corner towards this golden light, you can tell something alerts to your presence. At least, like, you hear kind of what sounds like a horse, kind of like a sort of like a
Dragon horse.
like a upset noise from a horse.
A dorse.
As you kind of round the corner, and you see inside of this opening, what looks like the opening of like a small natural cavern that's been somewhat, not necessarily like stonework, seems to have been built up either by magical means or by sculpting to make somewhat of like a living quarters in this area. That's currently fairly bare of items. Standing in the middle of it, though, you see a beautiful bright white Pegasus, and looking over the stone shelves, what looks like a individual in glowing, gleaming armor, who's kind of glancing amongst the stuff. He does not seem to notice you, whereas the Pegasus seems to have.
I like, oh well, because we're all strapped into our lizards at this point. Like still.
No, you guys are on foot, I assumed, at this point.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd definitely be on foot.
I'm gonna try and calm down the Pegasus.
Okay.
Like, so what's that? Animal handling?
Yeah, animal handling. Sure.
That seems
It always
insulting
comes
to the
in-
Pegasus.
It always comes in handy.
When it comes in handy, it comes in handy.
That's another 19.
19? Okay, you're kind of like, call me, and it kind of like settles, and the guy, again, like, he kind of like half glances back as it made the noise, but you kind of settle it quickly. He just shakes his head and goes back to what he's doing.
What is he doing?
It seems like he's looking over something on the shelf. You can't see through him to see what he's holding on to currently.
Any itching of my
I mean-
wrapped up arm?
He doesn't
Nope.
look
Damn.
like a bad guy.
It seems to be a celestial of some kind.
He's got a Pegasus, so he's can't be that bad, right?
Alright, face of the party, say hello.
All right, I will. Oh, so I'm gonna stand out a little bit in front of everyone and clear my throat.
This individual quickly grabs to a longsword on his hip, twisting, drawing it, and pulling it out, aiming it towards the group of you. And you can see the individual in front of you. for those of you who met the Elf Inquisitor, the Astral Elf Inquisitor, seeing this person straight on, it seems to be another Astral Elf Inquisitor. You see an individual. The armor seems to be built for a male form, not a female form, but the armor otherwise is practically identical to the armor of that individual. And you can see small bits of golden tan skin between where the armor's kind of joints and segments meet, and glowing yellow eyes shining through the visored helm. And he will say, "Speak, who are you?"
Well, I'm Axel. This is my party. We're just doing a bit of treasure seeking down here at the bottom of the cavern. The black chasm, as it were. We actually ran into... What was her name? Loverboy?
I assume this is Theron, but Keita is the
Keita.
angel who seems to be in charge of it all.
Right. So
Do you say that out loud?
Right. Yeah.
He'll say, "I am Theron. You ran into Keita?"
Well, I ran into Shashel?
Shasil.
Shashil.
Not important.
Well, we briefly ran into Keita. Very long time ago. I'm kind of on the trail of Ultradrick.
Not in this particular case. We
Not in
were
this
on
particular
trail
case, but yes.
At this moment.
Sort of in a roundabout way, in the long sense. I've got suspicions about where he may have ended up, but
Right. Thank you, Candle. So that's who we are.
You can see these set of golden eyes like darting between people in the sun underneath the visor.
I'm in the side petting the Pegasus, like
nervously spinning my head.
We mean you no harm. There was a powerful magical artifact that we believed what came this way that we were tracking, but
Portable.
You were
just
tracking
ran
an
into by
artifact.
accident.
Your hunt of Altragic did not bring you to this place?
Not directly.
No.
No.
Well, I'm afraid whatever artifact you may be seeking, Altragic probably took from this place with him when he left.
Curses.
Well, now he must be on his trail.
We won't be able to escape him when we encounter, which means he won't be able to escape
yes.
us.
We should tell you about that though. He has the portable octagon, as we've termed it.
Portable octagon?
So,
Mortals, I need all the information you have, and I need it quickly.
Yes.
It's a spooky large gemstone that projects a sort of sphere of darkness around itself, and you can't pass beyond that sphere of darkness without being turned around and brought back into it. Also,
It's
have
possible
to
to escape once you're inside of it,
Unless you destroy the artifact. Which, I mean...
or somehow get the artifact far away from you.
yes,
Or, as we suspect, put it inside some kind of extraplanar storage device.
such as a portable hole, or perhaps a bag of holding. This guy.
We've given him a word up.
No, this guy's like, that would be useful.
My enemies could not escape me if I had such power.
I want this portable octagon.
I like that that's
say-
not its name at all, but that's just what we call it.
But we, again, Lord up here. The Drow in their city of Vordra seem to really be up to something, kidnapping noble women, a lot of other stuff. There's, I'm not entirely sure I should be telling you this, but I don't like the guy all that much. There's like some sort of interplanar bounty hunter named Brick, a little auto gnome, who seems to be on the trail.
You
of
notice the yellow slits tighten slightly at this name?
Look, I'm not a big fan of him either. I expect a showdown is coming. He's on the trail of Ultradrick as well. We have sort of other loose rumors of celestial machinery or celestial devices that have gone missing. I understand that that's not necessarily information that I should have, but I understand that that's something that you guys might be tracking down as something stolen by Ultradrick, which is why you're here.
That sums it up.
We're also traveling with a sorcerer who might be part celestial, who seems to be tracking down some sort of celestial device or celestial artifact. he's trying to get to the Drow city of Vordra, which is also where we're headed.
To
So
get my mom.
to rescue his mom.
We're trying to stay on a little bit of topic here.
So
No, that's the important part. You should help me with that.
my point is, my conspiracy theory is that the Drow are somehow either responsible for Aldrich stealing whatever he stole from you, or that's where he's taken it, and that somehow all of these stolen noblewomen fit into it.
That's a good point, because you know what it is. So if that
That's true.
lines up, then you would have information that would tie that together,
What?
possibly.
I know, again, this isn't necessarily information that I should have. What
You don't have to remind
was
me of that.
stolen?
I cannot share that information with the likes of you,
guys,
but
yeah.
understand this. If Altrajic's goal is to put noble women, to use this machine, this artifact on noble women, there will be nothing for you to find of any sort of substance when he is done with them.
Would there be a
So
reason for him to use it on noble women, like specifically?
Or for the Drow to use it on noble women specifically?
Very unlikely.
Okay. Could be two separate plots,
Could
but
be two
everything's
separate plots.
entangled
Yeah.
necessarily.
It's the Underdark. Everything's entangled in the Underdark.
So is there anything we could help you with?
Why would we help?
I would like to meet this celestial.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Nowhere in our contract did it say we weren't allowed to introduce him to other Celestials.
Right?
Where is he now?
At our
Top
staging
side.
ground up by the bridge.
Up at the bridge.
Very well.
The bridge.
He walks over and he kind of swings a leg over the Pegasus onto its back and kind of pulls its head up away from where you're petting it and kind of gives you a sort of scowl and says, "I will meet you up there then." And takes a couple steps out of the cavern. The wings kind of spread flat hard and he shoots off into the sky and up towards the bridge.
Cool. Cool. What's on his shelves?
Loot.
Go ahead and give me an investigation.
Just one of us, or anybody who's doing investigating?
I've got.
Sure, anybody.
I felt like that went well.
I've got a 4.
I want to know what's on his
How much
shelves.
do you have?
Can more than one person
Let's
roll it?
see.
Can more than one person roll this?
Sure.
'Cause I want to know what's on that shelf.
Only a 12 on
That
that
is
investigation.
a 15.
I got a 10.
15. 10.
14.
14.
I'm standing there,
What's you-
self-confident that this has all gone terribly well, and Candle's going to look like a big damn hero. So I'm not looking around at the shelves.
Looking around the shelves,
Damn.
you don't find a whole lot of anything. Most of what you find is signs that stuff was here. Like I said, it seems, after looking it over, it seems like probably through magical means, stone was kind of plunged up and shaped into things in order to make sort of makeshift. It's laid out almost like a living quarters as well as like a lab here. And there seems to have been quite a bit of stuff, probably made of metal, that's kind of scuffed along the top of here, moved around and used. But there's nothing really left for you to find. It seems like everything was pretty thoroughly packaged up and taken away. With that investigation check, the highest of those, what you can find is some small amounts of like residue, dust, and the like. That's not particularly, it doesn't seem like it's anything sort of reflective or of a specific, you can't tell what it's made out of, but it seems like some sort of like crushed up something of varying types, some sort of powders and the like. And you can also tell that there is the remains somewhat of like creatures on the floor that are very hard to notice. It seems like some sort of shadow-like creatures that are here that seem recently slain. They are more or less like, it looks, and they're kind of slowly dwindling away into nothing, but it almost looks like the shadow of an individual who should be standing there, but nobody's standing there. And it's just this shadow on the floor. And looking at them, they're somewhat reminiscent of the shadow creatures you fought on the bridge, slightly different, but reminiscent of them, and seem to be recently deceased, maybe something that this individual ran into there when he was here.
All right. Well, shit, if we'd climbed down here when we first encountered the Thunderdome, maybe we would have
Wrapped this whole plot line up
Yeah.
nicely.
You would have just fallen and died, bro.
I mean, probably, yeah.
Climbing that far.
And with you guys kind of looking this through and seeing those shadow-like creatures, it does kind of draw a line for you between some somewhat seemingly unrelated things, which is the fact that when you spoke with Brick Stardust, he mentioned that this Altridric's magics and power were typically related to shadow and darkness.
Did he
That was some information he shared with you.
did he build the portable octagon
Maybe.
and stick it up on the bridge to catch people, and then we knocked it down?
Possibly. Maybe. I
So
mean,
then-
it lines up.
So then he just perhaps recovered
Yeah.
his portable octagon.
Yeah, he was down here and we knocked it down. He's like, ah.
This does this does potentially give us an advantage because we understand now the nature of the portable octagon. So when he uses the portable octagon on us, we're not going to be like,
Oh,
"What
no.
devilry is this?" We're going to be like, "All right, you're in the cage now, buddy. Come on."
Anywho.
Anywho, we should go back up there and get the lore dump that's going to happen from those two talking to each other.
Yeah, or he's gonna
You guys
like,
are
murder our client.
mounting back up and heading up there.
Good thing we were. Well,
Yep.
were we paid half in advance?
Half.
By the way, I forgot to mention before, but when we're in the Underdark, I'm letting the eye stalk just like be out looking.
He's
You're letting
his
it be out and
livestock
about?
hang out.
That's
Okay.
disgusting, mate.
Just
Cover
hopefully we
that
have
way.
enough of an understanding that like if it sees something scary coming for me, it'll shoot a fear ray at it.
Here's hoping.
Because our lives are linked at this point. If I die, it dies.
Here's hoping you don't run into a beholder. Well, actually, the beholders don't like each other, so this
Yeah.
beholder eye stock probably would not like the other beholder. But
Lore. Alright.
anyway,
What if you saw another human knight with an eye stalk sticking out of him? Then he'd be real mad.
But he got
There could be only one.
yeah, that guy got the death
all
ray,
right.
not the fear ray.
I got two more. I could try. Maybe one of them's death ray, but
Not on the
based
road.
on how the last one went, where the first thing it did when it woke up is use the ray on me, I don't want to find out.
I don't want it to be a death ray.
Let's return to the staging area.
All right, you guys mount up on your lizards. It takes some time. Climbing up there will take a little bit of time. By the time you get there, it seems like the shock and then ensuing conversation of this encounter has already been going on for some time. And this individual seems to be not exactly angry, but certainly not happy with the conversation as it's going. Theron seems to kind of be not exactly, he's essentially like grilling this guy for answers. And it seems like Umbril is being intentionally vague in those answers.
That's it. Zone of truth. We don't need that again, especially with one of the Celestials standing nearby.
Theron will kind of look him up and down and be like, whatever it is you seek, do you seek it for good or for ill means? And Umbril will like take a while to respond to this last question, and will say that
He begins a diatribe
I seek
on what
it.
is morality and
he'll say, I seek it to destroy it, and nothing else. And I am confident it is not what you are seeking. It is not of a celestial origin. It would never have come from a holy city. And his like glaring eyes seem to soften slightly. And he will say, I believe you. So I will hound you no further with questions.
At this point, I'm gonna start. What's the wizard who's traveling with us? Who we think is
Sombril.
celestial?
Yeah.
Sombril. I kind of look at him because when he says he's looking for something to destroy it, does that trigger like? Does that kind
You
of?
don't get any sort of response, like you don't get an itch in your arm or anything like that. You're not sure. It does. There's no sign to you that it's related to what you're looking for.
Okay.
But looking him over to try and get kind of an intentional,
But yes, it's
like
quite-
trying to like
quite close.
read him a little bit, you do without a check notice that there is like a blue. His eyes have kind of a bit of a blue to them, a kind of stormy blue. That is a very literal stormy blue. When you're looking at them here, like you can see what looks like little like veins of electricity that are kind of moving and writhing around his eyes as this conversation seems to have heated up slightly.
Okay, interesting.
Lore.
Yeah.
Theron
Well,
will look
I'm-
to the
I'm
rest of
glad-
you as you now are here. Huh?
Oh, I'm glad that Umbral's not looking for the same celestial device that I'm trying to return to the Celestials. Because if he destroys it, that's going to make it hard for me to get a date.
That would make it.
He will kind of glance over the group of you and he will say, I appreciate the information you have shared with me. I recommend you not follow the trail of this creature and you leave it to those who are tasked with such things. Should you confront it, though, I wish you luck in its destruction, and would, of course, request that anything found in its person would be returned to us so it may go to its rightful home.
Yeah.
Kind of a shot
Good
in
buff.
the dark here. I
I
want to
absolutely
ask
just-
this celestial a question about a certain artifact I'm looking for.
Okay?
Trying to think like how I want to phrase this.
You seen any big evil books around?
No, I'm gonna turn to him and just ask, given that we have given you information regarding this, I have a question for you as a celestial and wonder if you know of anything about an ancient weapon or artifact called the Grasp of Levistus.
Again, his eyes kind of narrow behind the helm, seemingly kind of scanning you up and down, and he's going to say,
Evil.
you have the bearing of the bloodline of the Frozen One.
That is true.
The Grasp of Levistus, to my understanding, was a weapon wielded by Levistus himself some time ago. Cast away, recovered by his loyalists, and worn by one of them until their eventual demise. Its location is lost to the histories of my kin, at the very least. And it's my belief it's best it stay that way.
Oh, is it like a clawed gauntlet or something?
It'd be kind of sweet if you got to wear it. I'll look at him and be like, and just respond with, well, I've been tasked to destroy said artifact, so leaving it lost to time is not in the cards.
The only greater course I could think than it staying lost is it being found and destroyed, so I wish you luck on your task as well, Ben. I know nothing of where it resides. I know only that those loyal to Levistus command, of course, the powers of frost, the powers of death and undeath, and that wherever it resides, it is unlikely to be unguarded. So I would be prepared to face such things as the icy grip of death and undeath.
You mean to tell me I could be the god of death? What the hell? I'm missing out on a lot of this. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, trust me, from previous D&D campaigns, being the god of death's not all it's cracked up to be.
No, not really. That sounds awful.
You
From
either
what I
ascend to
hear,
the
some
throne
weird
or
little
the
wizard will
tragedy.
just make you dance until you get killed
I
by
was
the
about to
archer.
say, you either transcend to the throne at the end of the campaign, it's kind of sad, or you just dance until you die. Dance, dance, dance.
All right.
It's irresistible.
It was irresistible.
He will kind of do one last glance over everybody, kind of giving a chance for anyone else who wants to talk to him to say something before he
Nope.
gets out of here. He'll say, safe travels. And he will clamber onto the back of this and ride off. At first, it's though he continues riding ahead of like the same path you guys are on, like as it kind of flaps its wing and flies a little bit ahead of you into the darkness before you can hear it land up ahead and kind of clop along the pathway ahead.
Tell Keita I think
He
I
literally
went to
just
pretty
did that
okay
for dramatic
line.
effect.
A little bit.
Alright.
Celestials, known for quite the drama.
I don't know. That's Sloughton.
Yep.
All right.
Back on the road.
To Sloughton. On the road again.
Well, this was a worthwhile diversion.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely
you all
interesting.
get on your path around here and continue onward. Give me a survival check as you get to the branch and you take the branch towards the domain of the Durgar, who has a name that you saw before. Not there. This way.
Sure, it'd be nice if I had a point of inspiration or something.
I do. I have a point of inspiration I can give you if you think it's dire.
The domain of
grant you
Ashlord Scalgrin
My
Halfsteel.
inspiration.
Well, inspired.
As you get into this survival check to kind of try and get yourself back onto the other route.
That's a 10.
A 10.
Better than a 7.
You are able to kind of reroute this in a way where you think you're going to be on the right path, but it seems like you're going fairly close to, like, you're starting to notice a lot more well-maintained passageways, paved road, and the like. It seems like you're getting fairly deep into the Dwergar country itself, and where is like their actual controlled lands in order to do so.
The fringes of the Duragar Empire.
I would like one of you to roll me percentile dice.
Square.
And you can self-elect who it is, and we'll
You're
see how it goes.
rolling a D100.
Whatever fate befalls us is on you.
94.
Whatever
94.
fate befalls us is on you.
With a 94, you, during this travel, notice recent signs of encampments and likely, like, Dwergar patrols. But during the next couple days' travel, you never encounter any of those Dwergar patrols.
Well done,
The
Square.
timing seems to work out very favorably to you, to where you're able to traverse this and see signs that there's like considerable numbers of Dwergar in the nearby caverns, but you never have any sort of direct collision with any of them, and you are able to circumvent the blockage and get back onto a familiar passage from your previously brainwave sent vision.
Excellent.
Yep, we got good info. We didn't get jumped by Duragar. It's all looking up.
It's all turning up your party. It's all turning up Viceroy Expeditions.
We've got a new quest marker objective for finding the portable octagon.
Right? Yeah, it just says.
Well, it's a new quest, but the marker doesn't show up yet
Yeah,
because
no
it's a
marker.
find quest. It's like a scavenger hunt quest.
Well,
Makes
see,
it
but
pretty
it's
easy.
also like
There's
a
just
merge,
big marker
right?
on
Because
the
we
door.
had the one quest to find what's his face, and now we have the other quest to find the octagon. And now they've merged into one,
Find Alterdrick and the portable octagon.
and the portable octagon. Yeah.
Yes.
Which makes me wonder, what if the shadow people aren't naturally in the portable octagon?
It's just
He just puts them
his
in there.
Stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
He feeds them in there to eat people. Possibly. Who knows?
I don't know. Well, I do, but you don't, so I'm not going to say nothing about it. As you guys continue on this path, you continue on a path where you don't have to make any rolls or checks, as it is brain memory exactly where you're going to go for another about week and a half of travel. During this time, you are not bothered by anything in particular. Your travel will go fairly smoothly. You have the ability to move quickly, and you don't have to diverge or look for paths because you know exactly what you're doing with your brain map. And you get to about where you think it is time that you'll have to divert off of your brain map in order to start veering to Sloughton. Here is where I will need a survival check from your scout to guide you there.
I've been doing so good on these.
One of them has to be good eventually, right?
Statistically.
It's not this one, though. That's an 8.
That's an 8.
Are you drunk?
Okay.
Don't you get like some bonus for being in the Underdark or something?
I mean, it's mostly just that I can do it at like a faster travel pace.
Rangers. Why do I even hire a ranger? Honestly.
Occasionally, Erickson gives me advantage on them when he feels merciful, but it's not like I get.
Lala
specific
could guide us
statistics.
better. She could be using bardic inspiration and easily clear it. Come on. Now.
She could be using bardic inspiration on him before he rolls stuff, or you could be using
No,
guidance,
that's
but you
smart.
guys never do that. So, with an 8, you have a pretty direct, like, you know where you're supposed to end up, but the caverns just don't seem to cooperate in you getting there. And it seems like you have run into another setback, as you are getting kind of lost and having to double back fairly frequently in these caverns. During this time, you feel like you're getting closer, but not very quickly, and your supplies are starting to dwindle slightly. Varys will kind of let you know things that you have enough for probably a couple more days worth of rations. You think you're probably only a couple days away from Sloughton after this next about week and a half of travel, but if you guys are going at this current rate where you're having to double back a lot, you may start running out of food before that time arrives, or you're going to be cutting it very close as is. Make one more somewhat important survival check.
I would like to use guidance.
Okay.
I was gonna give him bardic.
You could also give. I think we can do both. We can do
A
both.
fair course.
So is your bardic inspiration a D6 or is it up to a
I
D8?
believe it's a D8.
D8.
We'll leave Dermir first.
Yeah.
Before the goats?
Are you gonna pull the wagon?
Immediately.
Oh,
Can
fair.
Dermir pull the wagon?
That's true.
We got those.
The highest number on these dice was not on the D20. 19 total.
Oh,
19.
Oh, thank God.
19.
That's a much better roll. You are able to find the path. Luckily, nearer to Sloughton, the paths are more frequented. Not as much as you would think. You know from like your previous conversation, Sloughton is a fairly large settlement. Like, it's not tiny. But you can tell there's more foot traffic here. But overall, it seems like the foot traffic that is near here is quite light and quite intentionally not leaving a bunch of trace of itself behind. You know that Svirfneblin survive often by hiding and camouflaging and avoiding the other races of the Underdark, so it kind of makes sense. But you start to notice with your keen perception and survival skills signs of this passage and are able to trace it. And as you kind of trace it over the next day or two, it's clear you're going in the right direction as the temperature in the caverns around you gets noticeably warmer and warmer with the next 2 to 3 days of travel.
Oh,
And on that third day of travel, you are, as you're kind of approaching, you can see a bright orange glow deep beyond in a cavern ahead as the warmth really seems to kind of emanate around you. And following along this cavern for another bit of time, you will arrive outside of Sloughton. Outside arriving to Sloughton, it is a sizable settlement. You can tell that there's multiple there's kind of a large coastline of city along the edge of this big field of magma where you can see huge magma waterfalls from different vents pouring into this large spanning cavern full of magma, and it's receding deep out until the glow blinds you to where you can't see the other end of it or the end of the cavern in which it resides. You can also tell there's multiple islands kind of set into that with large dark metal stone bridges that are connecting these different sort of sections of city, all layered around this coastline of magma. Also along the walls of this cavern, you can see built up into them and up out in some locations over the lava, the magma itself, some of these structures set into the walls of this cavern.
metal.
There's literal metal, literally metal. There's dark metal walls around the outside of the city where you can see what looks like armored Svirfneblin moving along, kind of in patrols watching around. But there does seem to be an open gatehouse in the front and a decent amount of foot traffic coming and going. Primarily Svirfneblin, though you do see an occasional dwarf as well as an occasional like Kuatoa in the crowd moving about.
Kuatoa must be miserable.
Like, I'm getting cooked over here.
And with you guys, it is noticeably, it's very soupy. It's a very hot, steamy warmth embalming all around you inside of this cavern. And you can tell that most people around here are dressed fairly lightly. And you see a lot of people wearing like loose high top trousers with a vest, and that's about it. And everything else is exposed. and breathing to help avoid overheating in this area.
That does track.
Makes sense.
All right. Well, yeah, we'll head for the gatehouse. This is where one of our clients was. This is his end point, right?
No.
Oh no, sorry.
Both of them are trying to get to Vordra.
No.
Oh, all the way to Vordra. Excuse
This was.
Yeah.
Our
This is for
resupply.
and for like other people have more personal quest objectives.
Right. Yes.
Yes.
All right. You approach the gate. You can see there are some wagons coming and going and kind of parked and camped set up around the outside here. As your wagon approaches, the guards will kind of clamber down and take a look at everybody. Swerf Neblin, as you can see, he similarly, like, they're wearing armor, but it seems like they have like a panel of metal with like thin straps, leather straps holding it on, leaving as much skin exposed and just covering up vitals with their armor to help avoid overheating. And a couple of them will approach and say that, and will say, you will be admitted into the city, but we just have to look over each of you and look over your wagons to make sure you're not smuggling anything potentially dangerous. And your elven friend seems a little uncomfortable about this, but will let one of them, he'll like walk one around with him and open the back of his covered wagon, and you'll see that he'll kind of poke a head in, look around, and seem unperturbed as he kind of quickly closes and latches it afterwards.
Shipping something dangerous to the Drow, eh?
Possible.
It seems like, by the eyes of that Swerf Neblin guard, whatever was in there was not a problem, as he looks over all of your supplies, each of you, and is reasonably pleased that you are not threats, and says, enjoy the city of Sloughton.
How dare you? We could be very threatening if we wanted to be.
I'm gonna kick your ass.
I assume the group of you are going to head into Sloughton.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you start, your wagon kind of clambers along, you start pushing your caravan into the city. It's fairly bustling market street when you first walk in, as people are moving around, lots of trading, deals, conversations, stuff going on. As you get into the street here, you notice dotting, kind of speckled throughout the crowd, a number of kobolds with sort of strange face paint and colorful, loose-fitting clothing on. And one will approach whoever's up, I guess the wagon, probably Axel at the front wagon, and it'll kind of like wave a piece of paper from the side of the road as you approach.
Yeah. I assume it's like a flyer.
And he'll slap it into your hand, and he will he'll kind of glare with one eye at you, stick his tongue out, lift one leg and mouth like a fart noise, and then let's go running off, still with another bundle of papers underneath his arm.
Hang on. I'm gonna guess.
Circus.
I thought he was gonna.
Kobold Circus.
You guess what?
Kobold Circus.
I mean, it doesn't say Cobalt Circus on the flyer. Are you reading the flyer?
Absolutely.
Make a wisdom save. Just kidding. You see a flyer for Bog Trottle's Peculiar Menagerie,
Kobold Circus.
Nice.
which is clearly a circus pamphlet that is being handed out by these kobolds.
Well, clearly there's either a bunch of mini games for us to participate in, or some sort of odd side quest to get involved in.
Right.
So we're going to the
Absolutely.
we're going to the
Porque no lo
How
sabes.
could you not?
We're gonna
And
look
you can
for
see
them.
that the kobolds, Cobalt Circus, you guys see me, Bog Trottle's suspicious? Curious? What was the word? Bog Trottle's Peculiar.
Yeah.
Peculiar Menagerie is set to open in you guys are kind of getting there in the evening, not tomorrow, but the day after is the opening night of Bog Trottle's
Okay.
Peculiar
That gives us a way
Menagerie.
to pursue personal objectives, and then we can go unwind at the circus,
The
Mhm.
Yeah.
or go get attacked by
That's a
clowns
great
at the
way to-
circus, or go have to solve the
great to
murders at the
unwind.
circus, or-
Could be all sorts of things. Be a donkey.
But apart from that, the city is available to you. It's the evening, but you are certainly able to make your way into the city.
Could be a donkey painted like a zebra. It could be fluffy dogs painted like pandas.
Right? Yeah.
Is the circus tonight?
Menagerie.
Yeah,
No.
couple days.
Couple days? Well, then I'm gonna go get a drink.
We're off to the bar.
All right.
It's
The
Going,
bars.
there's
Oh yeah, is there a new carousing list in Sloughton?
A Sloughton specific carousing table.
You don't want to end up, if you go too hard, you don't want to know where you end up on an island only big enough for you in the middle of the Slagmere, naked.
Yeah. Wonderful.
You can certainly find. Are you wanting to like get an inn / Are you want to find a place to drink and
Right.
stay for a couple nights?
Yeah.
Yes.
You are able to find. There's a couple different. The nicest of the ones you see that like seems like it's like a very full, nice, like kind of lively bar, as well as what seems like good, safe rooms. Is called the Gemstone Cavern, and you can
Does it have a luck
entering
counter?
in. What was that?
Does it enter with a luck counter?
Depends. It depends. But
Just the second
entering
time
into
I've
it,
been
it
joking
seems
this campaign. 'Cause we've been wearing the
it seems
Gemstone
like
Cavern
a
before.
pretty bustling establishment with lots of Svrfneblin drinking, and speaking and having like carousing. You know, having a good time.
Carousing.
And each of you can get a room if you're wanting to just stay essentially for like what would be 3 nights to make sure you're here through the menagerie. It would run you 1 gold, 5 silver. It's 5 silver a night to stay here.
I'll just
Oh.
since he covered so much of the
Thank you.
bottled breath cost, I'll cover the cost of his room.
Thank you.
Okay.
You've got 1 gold.
Does that make your math good?
You've got plenty.
My math was gonna be pretty nice no matter what.
All right.
But I slipped man a couple of exactly 8 copper extra just to
Just to make the next
Just
boss
to
fight.
give the boss a couple
yeah,
of hit points.
I just wanna see what Erickson's got planned for the next boss fight. It's
I'm gonna pay him exactly
Those 10
0
hit
gold
points I
for
add to the
that.
boss will certainly be used to give it just enough life to almost kill you, probably.
yeah, sure. Now that makes my math harder.
Theodore has literal $0.
But you can certainly get a room here for the night. It's fairly late in the evening at this point, so it's probably worth doing a bit of drinking and eating and then going to bed.
Hooray!
They have a selection of drinks here. A lot of it seems to be fairly generic ale if you're looking for alcoholic drink. They do also have what they call cave water, which anyone who's gone to any Svrfneblin establishment knows Svrfneblin establishment worth its salt is going to not have cave water for sale available there. You know that cave water, it is technically alcoholic and does give a bit of a buzz, though it's like ABV is fairly low. But it's like a salty, kind of earthy tasting drink that looks like kind of light brown, brackish water, but is super mineral dense and super hydrating, and is like a commonplace drink that people carry with themselves in the Underdark because it's particularly hydrating and helps when you're at long stints of traveling and sweating and being in the Underdark. And it seems like here, especially with how much people are sweating, it's probably good to keep your fluids and your minerals maintained regularly. So it seems like most people there are drinking copious amounts of cave water.
Heck yeah.
Sure, one of each, please.
Yeah. Why not?
If you want to get a couple rounds of cave water is fairly cheap. You can get it for 2 copper pieces glass. So if you want to get a couple rounds, it would be what? That's 2 silver for 2 rounds for 2 silver and 4 copper for 2 rounds for the 6 of you.
Alright.
Oh, Joel's buying drinks.
He'll buy some drinks there. Varus will buy. You guys will get a meal, 1 meal included with your rooms. But Varus will offer to get any other meals that you guys need while you're here, as he's responsible for your provisions.
Right.
He said, "I'm not buying you booze because I don't want you to run me out of money. You're adventurers. I don't trust you.
He knows.
But
He knows
food,
the
I'll
open
take care
bar
of.
policy. No open bars.
No open bars. Not for adventuring Christmas parties."
By the time we're done, this place will be the richest tavern the world's ever seen. You'll be skint broken. None of us will remember any of it.
And you will all be so drunk and so well hydrated somehow at the same time.
Oh, it's perfect. No
But you
hangover.
will. You all will be able to get a night's sleep at the Gemstone Cavern, unless there's any other particular shenanigans you want to get up to.
I'm gonna ask the bartender about the the bridges to those like 3 islands. Like if they're if like the general populace can access them, or if they're privatized for a certain.
He will say that all of Sloughton is open to the public, apart from the Hold, which is one of the larger islands. That bridge is guarded, and that is where the leadership of the city is, and only those with clearance can go to the Hold.
Why do I feel like this is gonna end up having to go there? All right, cool. That answers my question.
Okay. It is worth saying that like the Slagmere itself is huge and sprawling, and these islands don't even begin to like extend all the way out into it. So there's a lot of Slagmere and just a little chunk of Sloughton right on this edge of it. Unless there's any other questions you guys ask anybody tonight, you will be able to get a full night's sleep and awaken the next morning. And the next morning will be the next episode, as I think this is where we will call close to this episode of Skygate. Next time, the party will search around Sloughton for some things and maybe go to the menagerie. We'll find out. Likely, because there's probably fun games. Go there, it'll be fun. I promise. No danger there. I have no snakes in my basement. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you all in the next episode of Skygate.